The Leonine Prayers are a set of prayers that from 1884 to early 1965 were prescribed for recitation by the priest and the people after Low Mass, but not as part of Mass itself. Hence, they were commonly called prayers after Mass. The name Leonine derived from the fact that they were initially introduced by Pope Leo XIII. They were slightly modified under Pope Pius X, the intention for which the prayers were offered changed over time. Originally they were offered for the defense of the temporal sovereignty of the Holy See. After this problem was settled with the Lateran Treaty of 1929, Pope Pius XI ordered them to be said for the restoration to the people of Russia of tranquility and freedom to profess the Catholic faith. This gave rise to the unofficial use of the name prayers for the conversion of Russia. For the prayers, the final form of the Leonine Prayers consisted of 3 Ave Marias, a Salve Regina followed by a versicle and response, a prayer for the conversion of sinners and the liberty and exaltation of the Catholic Church, and a prayer to St. Michael the Archangel. Pope Pius X permitted the addition of the invocation, Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us, repeated 3 times. The Holy See's 26 September 1964 instruction inter ecumenici, which came into force on 7 March 1965, simply declared, the Leonine Prayers are suppressed. Quote, however, many celebrations of Mass in the 1962 form are still followed by the same prayers with some discussion surrounding the intention for which they are offered. History. In 1859, Pope Pius IX, facing rebellion against his temporal sovereignty in the course of the Risorgimento, ordered that Mass celebrated in the Papal States be followed by 3 Ave Marias, a Salve Regina, a versicle and response, and a collect. He did not make these prayers obligatory in other countries, but did ask Catholics everywhere to pray for the defeat of those bent on destroying the Holy See's temporal sovereignty. On 6 January 1884, in the context of anti-clerical political and social developments in the New Kingdom of Italy, Pope Leo XIII ordered that the prayers be recited throughout the world. In 1886, the prayer that follows the Salve Regina was modified to make it a prayer for the conversion of sinners and the freedom and exaltation of Holy Mother Church. The prayer to St. Michael was added at the same time. 2 slight changes were made later to the prayer after the Salve Regina, and in 1904, Pope Pius X granted permission to add at the conclusion of the Leonine Prayers a 3-fold invocation, Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us, a permission that was universally availed of. In 1929, the State of Vatican City was created, resolving the troubled relationship between the Holy See and the Italian state, which had been the object of the Leonine Prayers, and thus removing the raison d'etre. But the following year, Pope Pius XI ordered that the Leonine Prayers should be offered to permit tranquility and freedom to profess the faith to be restored to the afflicted people of Russia, not, as is sometimes said, for the conversion of Russia. The 26th of September 1964 instruction inter ecumenici on implementing the Constitution on Sacred Liturgy of the Second Vatican Council decreed the Leonine Prayers are suppressed. Rubrics. According to the original decree of 6 January 1884 that imposed the Leonine Prayers, they were to be said after every Low Mass, but later decrees, whose interpretation was not always clear, spoke rather of private masses, what in present-day legislation are called masses without the people. According to one influential rubricist, the Leonine Prayers could be omitted after a Low Mass that was celebrated with special solemnity, such as an ordination of funeral Mass, a First Friday votive Mass of the Sacred Heart, a nuptial Mass, or the Mass after distribution of the ashes on Ash Wednesday, or if the Mass was followed immediately by functions such as benediction of the Blessed Sacrament or a novena. They were customarily said kneeling. Continued use. The Leonine Prayers were never included in the 1962 edition of the Roman Missal or in any other edition, but remained obligatory nonetheless. The fact that they were suppressed only after the 1962 Missal was issued is considered by many to mean that they are obligatory when Mass is celebrated in accordance with that Missal. Accordingly, they are still recited publicly after many celebrations of the Tridentine Mass. This is not the practice in the Icone Seminary of the Society of St. Pius X, and it has been argued by some that, since freedom to profess the faith has been restored in Russia, the purpose for which the Leonine Prayers were prescribed in 1930 has been achieved, leading to cessation of the law concerning them.